Last year, our next guest was living out her dream as a professional dancer on Strictly. She'd married the love of her life and was hoping to start a family.
Yes, but then after discovering a lump in her breast, everything completely changed. And Amy Dowden's world was torn apart when Tess revealed that she had breast cancer at only 32 years old. I mean, it's just everyone's nightmare, isn't it?
Young as well. However, after enduring grueling treatment and rounds of chemotherapy, Amy was given the incredible news, and I'm delighted, we're talking about feel-goods on a bank holiday. This really is that she is now cancer-free.
Oh, congratulations. Look, today she's going to share her journey in her new memoir. It's called Dancing in the Rain. We are thrilled to have you on the sofa with us, Amy, and your story is just so inspirational. So thank you for sharing it as well at first.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. It's been quite a whirlwind of the last 18 months. And actually, yesterday, my family came and watched me dance for the first time since.
Oh.
So, and then tonight, the documentary coming out. It just feels like, it's a lot of emotions at the moment.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you. So I still have my monthly injection.
Yep.
And will do for the next 5 years. But at the moment, my tests are good, everything's positive.
Oh.
And I just feel like, especially in this last week, being back at Elstree at Strictly dancing again, I really feel like the old Amy is back.
Good. Because we talk about the physical aspects of cancer treatment, but the mental aspects, I mean, it's hard work, isn't it?
It really is, and I talk quite a bit about it in my book and the tools I've used throughout my life through growing up with Crohn's disease, the dancing journey. It is tough, and sometimes I think it's harder than the physical side of things. And what was really tough last year was watching my best friends dancing on Strictly, and I just wanted to be there with them. I knew when, the warm-up songs are going on, what it's like walking down the stairs. And so it was really, really tough. And also you forget the impact it has on your loved ones as well during a cancer diagnosis. It's really tough.
I feel like you've had such a long journey and a hard journey, and I do appreciate that you've shared a lot of this on social and on telly as well. But for those who don't know the story, just tell us, how did you find out you had breast cancer to start?
Yeah, so I was paired with Tom Fletcher on Strictly Come Dancing, and the Fletchers welcomed me into their family home, and I become really close to Joanna Fletcher, and she got me on the Copperfield trek. And whilst I was there, I was like, hang on, I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I'm here getting everybody to Copperfield to check their chests, and I don't check myself.
No.
And then a few months later, unfortunately, I found a lump. So really Strictly kind of saved my life by pairing me with Tom Fletcher, because had I not been checking, I wouldn't be sat here right now. But it was the day before I went on my honeymoon I found it.
Oh,
and I still went on my honeymoon. And then I went to the GP straight afterwards. And
Did you tell your other half?
No, there's no way he would have been on that honeymoon. He would have just been in panic. And I knew in my head, I just had this gut feeling.
Did you? People often say that. How quickly does everything happen once you've been diagnosed?
So once you've been diagnosed, then there's more tests, and it's when you're in limbo, to be honest with you. And I talk about it in the book about, you just feel lost, you're unsure. And I was waking up every night thinking, I've got cancer inside of me, I just want it out.
Yeah.
And
Nothing could be quick enough almost.
No.
Nothing can happen soon enough.
And until all the doctors, they know you've got cancer, but there's different types of cancer. They've got to, check it's not spread and everything like that. So you don't even know the plan to begin with. And then I had surgery. And then after that, when they found out I had more than they realised, and I had ductal and lobular, they didn't know about the lobular cancer, that I was then going to start chemotherapy. So as well with a cancer diagnosis, you get given a plan, but it can quickly change. At first, I was having a lumpectomy, radiotherapy, and 5 years of treatment to keep me in the menopause because I've got a hormone-fed cancer. But then all of a sudden, I'm getting a mastectomy. Then I'm having chemotherapy. Because at first, I thought I was going to be able to do Strictly when I was diagnosed, because I thought the timescale worked quite well. So, you also need to be prepared for a lot of change in the plan along. And I always say every cancer diagnosis is different to each individual, and to bear that in mind for everybody. And the doctors who saved my life, the incredible nurses on the Sheldon unit, they go above and beyond, and I'm forever grateful for giving me another shot at life.
Because you were quite nervous, weren't you, about the chemo?
Yeah.
And you were thinking, no, I'm not doing it because that will ruin other things in my life.
Yeah.
And was it a family member that sort of persuaded you?
So it was my friend, one of my best friends, Jenny, who'd just been through breast cancer herself and had chemotherapy, and she kind of pushed me through the doors on that first day, and she kept saying, look at me now, 2 years later, look at my hair, you know, you've seen it. But also I saw what she had to go through, which was so tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a rock. And yeah, Ben, my husband, and I are so lucky for all the love and support we received from our loved ones. I don't think either of us would have got through the last year without them.
It really takes a village.
It really
get through this
does.
stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, we are. We're super lucky and grateful. And watching the documentary and doing the book was like therapy, actually, for me. You forget actually how much you've actually been through, because at the time you're on survival mode, just getting from one appointment to the next, one chemo to the next. And yeah, and watching it back and doing the book, you're like, did I really go through all that? It's kind of surreal.
Well, I bet it is, because it will all just be a blur. It's all just happened, hasn't it? And you just had to take in all this new information. So the documentary is tonight, 8 o'clock on BBC One.
Yes.
Let's have a little look at this, because it's honestly such an emotional journey.
Come on, it's fine.
Mum, I can do this today.
Okay. Honestly, the first one's the worst, and then you know what to expect, and it's fine.
I really don't want to do this. Nobody ever does.
But you can do it, because you're strong.
Okay. Come on, you can do this.
You can.
You feel like you have no control over anything. But the one thing I could fight for was my hair.
Yeah, on that side. Yeah. Okay, so scalp cooler on. You feel it, how cold it is.
You're putting on, that's to cool the scalp in the hope of keeping your hair. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Okay.
But unfortunately, by about chemo 4, I'd already lost a lot of hair. I had quite a big bald patch on the top of my head. And when you have the cold cap, you wear it for 30 minutes before, the whole of the treatment, and an hour and a half afterwards. And your hair is like ice taking it off. And my body had already been through so much. I had sepsis. And when I went into septic shock and I needed care of intensive care to get involved, I had blood clots. My body had been through so much, and on my 4th chemo I'd gone in, I'd started being sick, and my body couldn't take it anymore. And my friend Carla was with me, who's also my hairdresser, and you see in the film, and I talk about my hair journey a lot in the book. We had to make the ultimate decision to take a cold cap off, and that decision, because I knew going home that night, I cried so much knowing that that's it now. I've got a couple of days until I'm completely bald. And I guess I was just trying to hang on to a little bit of me. So much is taken away. I'd already lost my boob. I'd lost my dancing, and I didn't know, was I ever going to get back to it? Yeah, I was just trying to hang on to that little bit of me, and I did. I found it really hard. So I was doing a cold cap to try and keep my hair,
I think anyone would, and coming from a girl's point of view, you know, your hair is part of who you are, and it can sound so insignificant when you're thinking about all this other stuff to do with cancer, but that is a bit of you. It's like, and this as well. It's almost that feeling, isn't it? What more can you take from me? However, I would say, I mean, I saw the clip of you shaving your head, and it was inspirational. And I feel like it connected a lot of people, didn't it? And people came sort of coming to you with support and saying, thank you for sharing this.
Yeah, and actually I'd seen other young ladies, one of which I ended up, Tabby, doing the Copperfield trek with later in the year. She was so brave and shared her experience of shaving her hair. She gave me, they were a similar age, the confidence to shave mine. And yeah, online I built up such a lovely community of fellow breasty friends, Pink Sisters. Yeah, which really helped. And I just really hope through the book, through the documentary, that, you know, it raises awareness to get people checking themselves. Because if you're not checking, who is? Both male and females. And if 10 people start checking themselves from the book or documentary, I might be able to help save one life.
When you describe this process and everything you've been through, it's kind of amazing that we're going to see you in the new series of Strictly.
I know.
I mean, fair play to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're inspiring people out there by doing that as well. You must be so grateful and excited.
Yeah, and the Strictly family, they were there for me every step of the way. And yesterday, I can't say too much, but dancing again, a very special number. And the boys, the team, all picked me up at the end and you know, run me off the floor. It was so emotional. It was so lovely. And yeah, it's so surreal. And I just can't stop smiling. Yeah.
You deserve this. It's honestly, it's so nice to have a happy end to this story and see you back on the screens. Do you know who you're partnered with yet?
So you'll all have to wait. I think the
come
launch
on.
show is
I
the
tried.
14th of September.
Come
We've
on.
been working so hard, the 20th year anniversary, which feels crazy as a little girl watching it on screen, and here I am, part of it.
Aw.
But yeah, we've been working super hard, and yeah, just can't wait to be dancing and entertaining. And also last year, being on the oncology unit, I saw what Strictly did for everybody, and I was so proud to be part of the show that I could see lifted people through what was such a tough time. So I'll have all those in my mind as well.
Great to have you back on it.
So nice.
Thank
Just
you.
enjoy every bit of it. Fair play to you.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for
me.
coming in. Thank you. So good luck with the book.
Yes, good luck with
Buy the
you
book,
dancing in the
everybody.
rain. Yes,
Buy this.
you
Buy
really
the book.
should.
Buy
I
the
feel
book.
like it's going to be such a lovely read. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're to buy one as well. You're not getting that one.
Yes, I will. I will buy one.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now, this story is honestly so shocking. Let's go back to 2016 when Marisha Wallace burst onto the West End stage as Effie in Dreamgirls. Now, having had a hugely successful career in Broadway, this was the beginning of her big move to the UK as a West End star. It was all going so well.
Going very, very well. She found a love match on a dating app, but who she thought was the man of her dreams turned out to be an absolute nightmare. She was scammed out of £60,000, a huge amount of money. It really was.
Yeah. I mean, it's just disgusting. And I have to say, I'm just so pleased that you're here and you're ready to talk about this because it will have been a big trauma in your life. So thank you so much for that.
Good morning to you
Good
both, by the way.
morning.
And I know your train was delayed, so you're a bit panicked. So thank you for making it to the sofa today.
Good morning.
Lisa is victim supports fraud expert, and she's going to here to give us advice as well off the back of this story. Unbelievable story because everything seemed to be going so well in life.
Well, I had just moved from the States, from New York to London. I was here alone. It was 2018. I had just taken over the role of Effie White, which is a huge role to play, very emotional role anyway. And simultaneously, I was going through a divorce. So I was vulnerable, I was alone. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to try to put myself out there. Yeah. I'm going to go on Bumble, on this dating app. And I meet this guy. And we go on a date and everything is great and we're just being friends. He was very supportive of me during this like really hard time and he was like a friend and someone to listen to. And he told me he was into finance. Mm-hmm. And I, at the time, had been saving money for a really, really long time because I wanted to buy my mom a house. Oh. And so I was like, instead of leaving that money just sitting in my account, I wanted to invest it in some kind of high yield interest or some kind of way to make money off the money that I had saved. And he was like, well, I'm an investment, so I'll help you. And I was like, great. And then, you know, you're building this trust. And he says, I'll send you to an account manager that I know. I got on the phone with the account manager, had many calls with him, did my due diligence of like checking it out. He worked for a reputable firm, which I thought. Yeah. And so I put the first amount in, which was about $24,000, because that was like my savings. Yep. And I got a return, like after a couple of
So this is the interesting part for me.
Yeah.
So you put this money in.
Yeah.
And at this point, everything seems legit because nothing was forced on you. It was all very casual,
No,
right?
it was all very casual. It was all very professional as well because I had like a website, like where you put your password in. I could see the money that was there. I could see the money, the interest that it was supposedly accruing.
Yeah, and so suddenly you start making money off this investment
I get money
and it
back.
feels legit.
Yeah, I get cash back, like, and it was like a good amount. Yep. So I was like, oh, this is really great. And then they were like, well, there's an event coming up in a couple of weeks. And also, this guy who's supposed to be my friend is pressuring me, but not real pressure. It's like you don't feel like it's pressure because he's like, well, I just put in more money this week and then I got more money out. And they were like, well, there's an event coming up. If you put money in the next 2 weeks, more money into the account, you'll get a higher return because the interest rates are going to go up.
So you were sort of given this urgency of, you know, stock market's looking good or whatever they were sort of saying to you. Yeah. Probably best to invest now. It felt like they were, you know, supporting you in a good decision.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, this, because I'm a very trusting person. If someone says they're going to help me, I just am like, okay, great. I did my research online. I thought, and the person is sitting in front of you. It's not like it is today where everything is online. Yeah. This man is sitting in my home. Yeah. He's talking to me like...
You've had dinner with him?
I've had dinner with him. Like, we've had conversations. I'm thinking, it's fine. Then I invest more money, and we get it up to, like, 60 grand is what it was the final amount. And then a couple of days later, because up to this point, anytime I called the account manager, he was right on it.
Yep.
Like, I'll respond. And then I was on the set of Aladdin. This is crazy. My first film I've ever done.
Aww.
I was so excited. I was working with Guy Ritchie, and I was in the trailer getting ready, and I texted him on a whim, because I just had this, like, whim. I was like, I had a bad feeling. I texted, and no one responded.
Oh.
And I called, and no one responded. And I kept calling, and no one responded. And then the runner came to get me out of my trailer, and I was literally like, I was crying. I was like, it's a scam. Like, I knew in that moment.
You knew there
I knew
then?
instantly that it was wrong.
It's a feeling.
It was a feeling.
Yeah.
So I did the shoot the whole day. I did the show that night. And then I finally got, I don't know how, it was the grace of God. I don't even know how I survived any of it. Because I just had to keep performing. I just had to keep going. You can't tell anyone.
No.
You can't, you have so much shame and so much guilt. And you don't think it's real. Like, you don't think that you've actually been scammed. It's like, how is this person that I think that I know has scammed me? So then I finally do get back in contact with the guy who's supposedly my friend. And he is like, oh, no, it's fine. He just, missed your call, And then I say, I want my money out now.
Yep.
I was like, I want it out now. And he's like, well, okay, let me get you back in contact with this guy. And then I just had to play it cool for like a couple of days so I could cipher him for more information, because I knew it was gone, but I had to pretend like it was okay. So then I went complete detective, and I was online all night long going through like, who is this company? So then I finally called the company that he was with, and then they told me
the whole thing's
he wasn't
bogus.
real.
Yeah.
He had a different name. The account manager was actually his brother.
And you contacted the police, but then
I went to the police. I had recorded conversations. I had texts. I had phone calls. I had all of the information, and nothing. They said there's nothing we can do.
The difficulty here, and Lisa Marisha talks about, being embarrassed by it. But the fact is, these scamsters are really, really good at scamming people. She shouldn't be. And I saw you kind of shaking your head there. You've heard these stories before.
Well,
It's all too
unfortunately.
common.
Yeah, I mean, the figures are that fraud is 40% of crime in this country now, and Marisha's experience, sadly, is not an isolated one. So she's taken a great deal of courage and resilience to come here today to speak about it. And we do want to reassure people that it's never your fault. You have been manipulated. So fraudsters have massive resources. They are working sometimes on their own or in organised criminal gangs, but they will be trying to harvest information from you, trying to mould themselves into your perfect partner.
Yeah.
So this is happening today, and you bravely came on today, and thank you so much, because you are going to help people.
Yeah.
As you speak, you're helping
I wanted
people.
to do it because I know someone is being scammed right now.
So let's put an end to that right now, Lisa. Tell us what people have to do. What should they look out for? What are the red flags?
OK, so red flags are things like excessive flattery, early declarations of love, so something that we call love bombing. So they will really hone in on you and try to establish that bond of trust quite early. They will also try to isolate you from others because they want no one else to break the spell that they are trying to put you under. Obviously, never give money to anybody, never accept money into your account, because unwittingly you could become a money mule. There's so many implications that unwittingly, you could be coerced by that fraudster into doing something criminal yourself. And if you're meeting through a dating app, stay on that secure messaging service for as long as possible, because they will try to take you off that platform. And I would say, speak to friends and family. Say that you've met somebody new. It's that other person looking in that might say, hang on a minute, Lisa, that doesn't feel quite right. Yeah. Shall we check that person out?
Yeah. Any doubts, do something about it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming in and telling your story. Honestly, it's really important. I know it took a lot of courage.
It's taken a long time to get here, but I just want people to know there's hope.
Yeah.
That you don't have to suffer alone. That now I'm in a really amazing relationship. I just bought my mom the house.
Yes.
Yes. Come on.
That I wanted to buy her, and if you had told me that during that time, I would have never believed you that I could do it.
You are an inspiration.
And I did it. There is hope, and I hope people can see that.
For Marisha, she shouldn't have had to cope alone. So victim support, if you search for our services, we will be there to help you.
Yes.
Come to us.
So victim support, any red flags, get in touch. Thank you both so much. You've helped a lot of people today. It's an incredible story, isn't it?
is, yes.
Do get in touch with the right people if you're infected.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Sorry, we've gone a little bit.
Look, there's dogs in the studio. We've got
puppies
very
around.
excited.
Very excited.
Very
about
excited. Now, having been diagnosed with autism at the age of 5, the years that followed for Peter Wilson and his family have been challenging both mentally and physically.
Yes, but all that changed when Peter was matched with Coco the Cavapoo, a puppy in training at Dogs for Autism.
Well, fast forward a few months, and Peter is not only thriving at school, it also meant the family can finally spend time out and about together.
Well, we're delighted to say that Peter, his assistant's dog Coco, and his mum Angela join us now alongside Hilary from Dogs for Autism and our very own This Morning puppy Buddy.
Buddy's
Oh,
here.
my goodness me. It's so good to see you all. And this is, I mean, what has turned out to be such a brilliant story, right? Angela, we'll start with you. Peter was diagnosed with autism when he was 5.
Yep.
But like we hear this a lot, don't we? That it took quite a long time for you to get that diagnosis, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It was really quite challenging. So from the age of 2, we'd kind of realised Peter wasn't sitting up on his own, he wasn't walking, wasn't talking, and we're kind of told it's developmental, he'll catch up. But it was quite clear over the years that it wasn't developmental. And we had a really good speech therapist that in the end sort of pointed out that actually there was something more to it. She referred us to a really nice paediatric. At first, they kind of went down along the lines of cerebral palsy and thought it was that, but that was then quickly ruled out. And at the age of 5, finally a diagnosis of autism for him.
It's a long time, isn't
It's
it?
a really long time, and that makes it so difficult for you. Eventually, Peter was diagnosed with auditory processing disorder.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So that came a few years ago. It was apparent that in the classroom he was really struggling with his learning. He wasn't able to focus on what the teachers were saying. And we ended up having to pay privately for that because that wasn't available in our area on the NHS. So that cost us £2,000 for that diagnosis. But since that, he's had hearing aids, microphones that aid him in school, and he's able to focus now, and his learning's coming on immensely. He's doing so well.
Oh, that's
He's
great.
so proud of how far he's come.
So brilliant to hear. So brilliant to hear. When Peter was a lot younger, what was, day-to-day life like? What was it like going out in public and doing sort of, I suppose, quite mundane, normal activities?
It wasn't very nice at all. I mean, one experience will come to mind when we took him into the city centre one day, and it was too much. The noise, the smells, the lights, it was really crowded, and he did have a bit of a tantrum on the floor and just decided he wasn't going to move. And I had an elderly couple stand there and just say, why would you bring your child to town if he's so naughty? And that
lose
kind
your
of
faith in people, don't you?
It kind of just took me back a little bit, that people saw him as a naughty child and not as a child that just couldn't cope in that situation. So it was a challenge early life. We tended not to go into busy public places
because of other people, which is horrible. Completely.
Absolutely. And you saw the charity Dogs for Autism. You saw it originally, was it on Facebook?
It was, through a group that I'm part of, a support group. A parent had posted that their child had got a Dogs for Autism dog. And I hunted them down on Facebook and through websites, and we applied to have a dog for Peter.
And that's where lovely Coco
Lovely
comes in.
Coco, look at Coco.
Peter, Coco has changed your life.
Yes.
Completely changed your life.
Yeah.
And I suppose, Peter, for you, but also for the family too, right, Angela?
Yeah, absolutely.
What does it mean to you to have that support?
It means that we can go out as a family, we can go and have long social events, we can go on holiday, we're not worried about Peter's reactions, because as long as he's got her, he's so grounded. I mean, you can see just sat here now, a couple of years ago, this wouldn't have been possible at all. She just grounds him, absolutely grounds him.
You can feel that, can't you? You really, really can.
Peter, how does Coco help you?
So Coco helps me to calm down. If I'm a bit upset, I could just have her on my lap.
Yeah.
And so I could cuddle with her or something.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And he comes with you to school 3 days a week?
Yes, he does.
Great. That's great that you can find that sort of, like, that calm.
Comfort. Yeah, absolutely that.
That's really great.
And you recently gave a talk at your school?
Yes, it was like September last year. It was in my English class, and it was like so I was supposed to do like a type of talk to do with like something, like any subject. And I decided to do a PowerPoint about where Coco was like pretty much from, from Dogs for some charity.
So brilliant.
Would you say it's safe to say that Coco being in your life has completely changed your life?
Yeah, it has. Because before, like, I barely spoke in class. I barely answered any questions.
Wow.
Then when Coco was like with me at that point, I changed.
Changed everything. Well, to the point that you're sat here on
live
national
television.
Yes. Live, this isn't, I mean, for you, this just is...
We couldn't be prouder as a family.
I bet.
Honestly, he's just beaming, and it's changed us immensely.
Hilary, this is, you're kind of no stranger to seeing the effects of support dogs and how brilliantly they work. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what this really means.
Well, we train assistance dogs for people with autism where we feel it can make a big difference in their lives. The training and the maintenance of every dog costs around £25,000, and we don't charge for our dogs. So, it's a really big commitment in many, many ways. So we can't train many dogs, because obviously we have to raise those funds. So the dogs that we do train, we try and identify families and partners where we can make that real difference. Now, I remember with my colleague Jan, who's here with us today, meeting Peter and his family a number of years ago now. Peter wasn't able to speak to us. He wasn't able to make eye contact. He found it difficult to engage with what was going on. However, we saw these little glimmers when he was with the dog that we took. Very quietly, we just saw we really could make a difference here. But having said that, I had no idea that Peter would have the grit and the determination to get to a point where he's taking Coco into a mainstream secondary school. I mean, the hours of training work that he's done with his dog and with his professional trainer to get to that point is immense. And they're really sort of flying the flag for other young people to show what's possible. It's not easy, but it's complete. We're so proud of him.
Well, it's such a lovely story to
really
hear.
Is.
Credit to you and the work that you and your team do. Brilliant stuff. And of course, to Coco. I mean, it's just incredible and so lovely to hear how much your life has improved. What will happen to our Buddy? Will Buddy go to someone like Peter?
Well, Buddy will go to someone who has autism. And when he gets to the point, maybe in another 12 months, where we can really start to see what his particular qualities are, and we look at the people who are waiting for dogs, we'll be able to match him with the appropriate person. And then all the work that Peter's done with his trainers, who really deserve a mention, Philippa Joberg and Carrie Struthers, who've done an incredible job with this little dog. A trainer will work with Buddy and the partner, and off they will go.
It's so incredible.
And find their independence. That's what it's all about.
It really is.
It's the bridge to independence.
How well that works.
We're
so thank you.
I love it. I just love having dogs at the studio. It's so fantastic.
Thank you. Well done.
It's so good. We all want to lie on the floor every now and again. Just going to lie down with Buddy and do this next.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Would you be able to tell if you were living with a narcissist?
Author and therapist Caroline Strawson says the reality of living with a narcissist can leave you feeling trapped by their behaviour and, worse, falling in love with them.
And Caroline should know, she says breaking free from her own toxic marriage to a narcissist took years.
And now she's written a book to help other women spot the signs and is here to share her story with us now. This is your book, How to Heal After Narcissistic Abuse. Hello, Caroline, how are you?
Good morning.
I'm really good. I'm really glad we are actually talking about narcissistic abuse in mainstream TV because we don't talk about it enough.
Well, what's interesting, and I just said this to you in the break, is actually we are hearing more and more this word being used, and I'm seeing it a lot on social media, and it's almost sort of to the point where it's coming a little bit overused, as it were?
Yeah.
You know, someone might have an argument with someone and say, oh, they're such a narcissist, and it's kind of being used very freely. The same way, I suppose, a period of time we were quite overusing the word anxiety, and then it means when there's a serious problem, it's not taken as serious as it should be, perhaps.
Yeah.
Should we go back to basics and break it down?
Yes.
What actually is a narcissist?
Yeah, I think the first thing to say is narcissistic abuse is a form of domestic abuse. It's just the word that we use, narcissist, like you say, it's overused. And actually, when we overuse the word, it diminishes the experiences of those who are at the hands of a narcissist because it is abuse. So when we talk about the word narcissist, we've actually medicalised the word narcissist because we have something called narcissistic personality disorder.
Right.
And because we've medicalised it, for someone to get an actual diagnosis, there's this book where there are 9 traits of a narcissist, and to exhibit 5 or more means you would get a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. Now, I am sure anyone watching who has had experience of a narcissist will know, firstly, there are way more than 5 traits or 9 traits, and no narcissist is ever going to go, I think I'm a narcissist. I think I need to go and see somebody and get a diagnosis.
Yeah.
Because the problem with a narcissist is they think it's everybody else's fault.
Yeah.
They think it's not them.
Yeah, exactly that.
Let's talk us through your relationship with your ex-husband now.
Yeah.
So when you first met him, he completely swept you off your feet. And then what sort of happened after that?
Yeah, I mean, he got a tattoo with my name on
within
months of our relationship. Now, I look back and think, Caroline, big red flag.
Yeah.
But at the time, because I had those feelings of not feeling good enough, and someone doing that for me, I thought, wow, he must really, really like me. And this is actually what we call love bombing. So they're doing and saying and gift giving and saying all the things that you've been desperately waiting for someone to say. And that's what makes it so difficult, because at the start, there aren't necessarily any signs if you don't know what you're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at what point, like you say, and at the time, I suppose, if you're enjoying it and you actually really are enjoying spending time with someone and, you know, craving that love, you know, I suppose at the time it's only nice. It's like he's really into me, I'm really into him, and it, I suppose, moves quite quickly.
Big dopamine rush.
Yes, yeah. And at what point did you kind of actually see the red flags? Because obviously, I suppose you got married, right? So you had to have got engaged. At what point do you start thinking, OK, I'm not feeling as great as I was at the start?
There was, even on our wedding day, I remember we got married in a big old manor house, and I remember looking down, and he was actually in the garden. And I remember looking down and thinking, this doesn't feel right.
Wow.
But most people who end up in relationships with narcissists are perpetual people pleasers. So, of course, everybody was there. They'd paid to come, they were staying overnight. So I went through with it in the hope that it would get better. There was always this disconnect. And when you ask, when did you actually know that it was an abusive, narcissistic relationship? I didn't know till I was out of it. Now, I'm an intelligent woman, and I didn't even realise, because narcissistic abuse is not like a light switch. It's insidious over a period of time, and it chips away at your self-confidence.
So when did it become sort of abusive? Is it like, you're saying he's doing all of these, like, sort of what you would classically say is positive things, getting tattoo of your name, getting all these things, giving you attention, doing lovely stuff. That's all good stuff if it's in a good relationship. But where was the negative, when did the negative stuff sort of start to seep in?
This is a really important part of narcissistic abuse because it's psychological and emotional abuse. I thought I was in a marriage with a cheat, you know, because he'd had multiple affairs. What I didn't realise up until I came out of that relationship, there was a huge amount of gaslighting. So I'd hear these stories, and he was my husband, looking at me in the eye and telling me these and sharing these stories. And in my gut, I'm thinking, that's not true. So I would question that.
What sort of stories? Like, as in, like, from, you say he was cheating. Was that in your relationship or in a previous relationship?
He had in a previous relationship because he'd been married before. But also in our relationship. But there would be these elaborate stories. And there was one particular occasion, and he worked for an airline, and he was 8 hours late coming back from a flight. So, of course, I was really worried, you know, where is he? Trying to call the airline saying, has the flight come in on time? Yes, the flight has come in on time. Eventually, when he called me, and I was even calling the police and paramedics saying, you know, is he OK?
Something's happened, yeah.
And eventually, when he called me, he said, oh, I think I've killed someone. Now, I was like, what? And he said, I don't want to talk about it, I just want to get home. And at the time I'm thinking, well, what's happening? He said, when he got home, there was a woman got off the aeroplane, tripped over, and he had to give CPR. And he did it incorrectly, so she died. Now, I have a medical background. I also, many years ago, worked for the airline because that's where I met him. So I was questioning, well, hold on, where were the crew? Where were the paramedics? Thinking it through logically. And he got really angry at me. So this is gaslighting. What they do is they make you doubt your sense of reality. So whilst in my gut, I'm thinking, well, hold on a second. But if your husband is looking you in the eye and saying to you, no, that did happen, and very often what they'll focus on is how you are saying it. Oh, you're so sensitive, you're a drama queen, as opposed to the content of the questions that you are asking.
And when did the light bulb go? When will you be able to see all of these traits, notice the behaviour and run for the hills, as it were?
Not until I came out of my relationship and someone said, go and Google narcissist. And I went and Googled it and I was like, whoa. And particularly covert narcissists. We all know the typical overt narcissist walks into a room, we can think of probably many that we know like that. The covert is much more stealthy. They act like the victim. So it almost looks like then, if I say this about them, no one's going to believe me.
Right.
So you feel like you are the crazy one.
You're almost backed into a corner.
Yes, yeah. So and you're made the villain. So as the victim, you're made the villain because they create a smear campaign about you.
Right.
And I actually read something that said, and like one trait would be that they would their actions, so you would respond to their actions, but what they would do was be cross with you about your response rather than actually the actions that have led to that point.
Because in a healthy relationship, if you quiz or question someone about something, they would normally listen. They would respond. And if they've hurt you or upset you, they would apologise, take ownership. It doesn't mean even that they think you're right, but they would be more understanding.
Acknowledge it.
Narcissists don't do that. Everything is your fault and they twist and manipulate you until you feel totally lost and a shell of yourself. And by nature of that it's behind closed doors, you feel like no one's going to believe you and you feel like you're crazy and you isolate yourself, which is why when people overuse the word narcissist, it isolates, I mean, let's be honest, victims of domestic abuse from speaking up.
Absolutely.
It's really interesting.
It is interesting.
It's really fascinating to sort of delve into sort of those sort of character traits of people and why a relationship might be breaking down and for what reasons. We should say that we reached out to your ex-husband, who has sent us the following message, said, I hope Caroline can finally find some peace and happiness in her life. And now your book, How to Heal After Narcissistic Abuse, is out now. And thank you so much for coming in.
And also, we should say helplines on screen. Head to our website, and if you are suffering or, anything resonates a little bit too much that we've just spoken about, there'll be help on our website for you. Thank you, and well done.
Thank you. It needs to be talked about
really
more.
appreciate
Absolutely that.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now, have you ever felt tempted to leave everything behind and just try something new? It's what Twitter says I should do every day. Well, that's exactly what our next guest did when she decided to embrace life on the road.
Yes, after the menopause left her feeling burnt out and in a bit of a dark place, Sian Daniels sold her flat, quit her job and spent £40,000 on this glorious motorhome to travel around the UK.
And as she encourages other women to get out of their comfort zone, Siobhan is joining us now. Hello, Siobhan, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
I'm so excited to chat to you.
Siobhan, this is a really brave... It shouldn't be brave, right? Because we kind of look at these things, it's like, you're supposed to want the home and want the career and then want to retire and sort of enjoy winding down. So that's what you're supposed to want to do, but actually, this is quite a brave thing to do, but it shouldn't be. And I think that's your message, isn't it? Like, you weren't feeling yourself. This started when you were going through the menopause and you knew you needed to do something for you.
I think a lot of women get to that stage where you just want to repurpose your life. You think, what the heck's it all about? Kids have grown up, you're floundering about in work and you just think, what do I really want? What makes me happy? And that's the point that I got to. I thought, what makes me happy? Travel makes me happy. Everything that I've got around me is just stopping me living and I want to live. And the idea of a motorhome popped into to my head one morning. I still don't know where it came from because I've never driven a motorhome. I've never slept in a motorhome. And it just popped in and I thought, that's it. And I went into work that day and said to everyone, I'm going to get rid of all my stuff. I'm going to get rid of my home, buy a motorhome and hit the road.
I love this.
Yeah.
That's the kind of like oomph, you know, that women should have, right?
It must be so liberating to just suddenly just sort of get rid of all of the little things and then just sort of focus on you, I suppose.
It's really scary at first. I don't make it, although it was an easy journey.
Right.
I was frightened. My head kept thinking, what are you doing? So I was ruthless. I just threw everything in the middle of my motorhome. I've written a blog and shown the pictures. I threw everything, in the middle of my flat. Friends came for dinner and I was going, you can take that, you can take that. I went into work with bags of stuff. I went to charity shops and I got giddy, really, I think. and then I chose the motorhome. As soon as I walked in Dora, I knew that's the one for me. I don't know why, but I just did. A bit like buying a home.
Right.
And then the fear, I kept pushing it away, but it was there. So I don't, say to anybody, if you embark on this, it's not going to be frightening. But face your fear. Don't say self-limit. Don't say, I'm too old or I can't do that. Because that's what we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
And we say, I've got to stay in this house.
Exactly, yeah. It's like you're supposed to be conventional, aren't you? You've got to stay in this house and this is kind of...
But you're not living, you're existing because you're working to earn lots of money, to buy loads of stuff, to clutter your life, and then you've got to pay for it and you've got all the stress, but you're not living.
Have you always had sort of that impulsive nature, that kind of, right, get up and go, I'm going to do this? Or is this a real kind of...
Not at all. I thought I had to have the nice houses to make sure my daughter went to the nice schools, and I stretched myself with mortgages and all that kind of thing. My nickname was Champagne Siobhan. Dinner party time.
Nickname.
So of course when I started doing this, all my friends were, what on earth are you doing?
Well, because you'd never even driven one of these things before, had you?
No, and that was scary. I can't...
It's a leap.
Yeah, a massive leap. But thankfully, my brother Paddy had a motorhome, and I just was forever on the phone saying to my brother, I can't do this, I don't know what to do. And he'd answer the phone going, motorhome helpline.
Well, that's good.
She needs me again.
Need a bit of help. Should we have
come and have a look. I'd love to show you around. Come in.
How was it getting it in the studio, first of all?
Oh,
was it difficult to get it in here?
A lot of sweat and tears, but I got in.
We could have done this in the old studio, that's for sure.
Don't even know where the door...
Come in.
You get it in.
Come and take a seat.
Oh.
Lovely.
Luxury.
It is so nice.
I know, it's everything you need.
Look at the...
my gin bar.
All the essentials.
I have to have a gin bar.
Absolutely.
And the lights go on when the gin bar's open.
Oh, do they?
It's amazing how often they come on.
What time does this gin bar open?
There's a bathroom in here. There's a bathroom.
Yeah, look, there's a full-size bathroom. Do you want to shower while you're in there?
Oh, there's a shower in here, Siobhan.
Just a casual
There's
shower.
a shower.
Yep, see you.
There we go.
There you go. Oh,
that's a
use the toilet already, Jo.
Thank you. I'm very
nice
quick.
and clean.
This is so cosy. Like,
Do you want to sit there? Do you want...
I totally
that's my
understand why you'd
clothes,
want
and
to
this
spend
is-
a lot of time in here.
And my food is up here. I could put all my food in there.
See, it's
put all my
so
clothes
good.
in the lockers. Look, I have them all organised.
And that, do you just... So where do you sleep? Does this go...
This is my bed.
That
So
side?
I pull this
Good,
out.
I'm just so pleased that we're not being rude and sat on your bed.
I don't want to...
No, you're
Okay,
all right.
good.
But you pull it out, that drops down, it becomes a single bed,
Right.
and my bedding's in a locker over there. So I roll out the mattress and my quilt, and I'm comfy as and I sit here looking out the window at all the...
Do you literally look at a map and think, right, this week I fancy going here?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first started, I just would Google, where haven't I been? And when I turned the key in the ignition in 2019, just giggling and crying, thinking, what are you doing? Where are you going? And being a Yorkshire lass, I just instinctively headed up towards Yorkshire, and I stayed on a farm in Harrogate. And when I saw the sunrise that first morning, I just thought, I know I've done the right thing.
Wow.
And since then, I kind of Google places, or I get invited to talk at lots of festivals now.
Okay.
To encourage women to have these adventures. And so if I'm invited to a festival, I've just done the Armchair Adventure Festival in Cornwall, and I hadn't been down to Cornwall, so I'm Googling different places and thinking, I can go there, I can go there.
Exciting, isn't it?
You sort of become a bit of a sort of social media influencer with it all now, right? So people are sort of really inspired by your story, I suppose.
And that's what feeds me, because when I was in my mid-50s, I was genuinely broken, just with the menopause. Brother and sister had died, struggling at work, feeling voiceless, and where do I fit in with everything? And I was broken. And now I'm 65. I genuinely am the happiest I've ever been. I feel like I play Doll's House every day.
I bet.
So I want to take people on that journey. And when I do my talks, women queue up in tears and go, I'm there, I'm in that place. And I can help them, and I love doing that.
It's like you've really found your calling.
Yeah.
You know, like at a time where you really wasn't feeling yourself, you've kind of taken on this, what at the time I suppose felt like a big adventure.
Yeah.
But now you've really found your calling.
Yeah, I have definitely found what I say is my inner voice and my warrior. I feel like I've got to be doing this. I've got to help women.
I bet you've got a queue of all your girlfriends going, Siobhan. I know you've only got one bed in there, but please let me squeeze in with you. But
It opens up right across.
Really?
I bet everyone wanted to come with you, don't you?
How many can you fit in this bed, Siobhan?
I've had 4 in at the moment.
Four in this
but there's
bed?
room. We could
It's a party.
squeeze up and get another.
What did the
It's a
little one
party.
say?
Yeah.
Roll over.
No, go get the gin. Go in the bar.
Honestly, I totally get this.
Yeah.
I totally get
and so
it.
you really just encourage, essentially what you're doing is encouraging people to take that leap.
Yeah.
You know.
Be a bit fearless.
Yeah, because I also think in society we write people off when they're heading towards retirement and heading towards their 60s.
So wrong.
And all the narratives around it are negative. You know, oh, you look good for your age, or oh, you can't do that because you're too old. And a lot of people take that on board and stop themselves. And I'm saying, look at the things that you loved when you were younger, revisit those. I do something crazy. I lie down and look at the clouds now, because when I was little, I used to love that feeling of just watching the clouds and making faces. And then I stopped doing it for over 40 years. And I
Well,
thought,
life
why?
gets in the way, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm so happy for you. This is
Love
just
it.
incredible, and this is so cosy, and I don't want to leave
It is. This is wonderful. It's
Well, you can come on a road trip
The only
anytime.
downside to this whole thing, I think, is the fact that you've got to reverse it out of the studio in the next break.
In the next break.
I'm feeling for you.
We're definitely going to film
So
that.
if you hear any noises,
That'll be on social media.
Yeah, exactly that.
Thank
Thank you so much for coming to see
thank
us
you
and
for
inviting
coming
us
in
into
the
your
door.
lovely
you.
home.
Try not to run over the loose women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch the crew. We love them dearly. Look after yourself, boys.
Thank you, Siobhan, for coming in. Really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Hi everyone, just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Here's a boot
It's like
camp.
Fame Academy on steroids.
Yes, and the boys you saw there are all here with us now. So please welcome the members of the British K-pop trained boy band, Blaze. We've got Dexter.
Hello.
We've got James. We've got Ollie.
Hello.
And we've got Reese.
I should
welcome
say,
to This Morning.
You guys, you are Dear Alice. It's so nice to meet you all. And you all did your best boy band, one of them down the lens, giving like live and kicking days.
Blaze, can you...
This is so surreal.
Yeah, and you've all got it. We've met you. And you know when you just meet people, you think, you have definitely got it.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. But Blaze, for anybody that's watching at home is not quite sure what K-pop is, can you just explain for me, please?
Yeah, so K-pop stands for Korean pop.
Right.
And K-pop, as we know, has been around for sort of 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a mix of choreography and music in many different genres, which comes together to form sort of an audio and visual experience.
And it's massive. I mean,
Yeah,
K-pop
it's
has
huge.
taken over the music industry worldwide. So to go for an experience like this, let's just be honest, it's not like we've just found you on the street, you've never done a two-step in your life. Blaze, you went to the Brit School, didn't you?
I did go to
So,
the Brit School, yeah.
you've been in training for something like this for a while now.
I was very lucky to go to the Brit School from 14 to 18, so I've been through a bit, but
Got a nice waistcoat out of it as well.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And Dexter, you're from quite a musical family as well, aren't you? So can you explain a little bit about your background for us?
Yeah, I kind of got into performing just because as a kid I had way too much energy. So my parents were like, what are we going to do with it? And then, I just used to love going to parties and dancing about. And then my dad was really, he was like a DJ in some festivals back in the day, here in a few clubs out in Shoreditch. So I was always kind of surrounded like backstage by like music.
You were clubbing
everywhere.
at 10, is that what you're trying to tell
Not
me?
quite, not quite. Watching.
Watching. James, a lot of people know you already because you're a bit of a social media star. A lot of people on TikTok absolutely love you, they follow you. What made you want to take part in this experience?
You know,
I mean, it's not really shown on social media, but I'm a massive lover of music, and I've been dancing my whole life. So going into this is like a dream come true. Like being able to dance with and sing with these boys is just it's just amazing. Stop, guys! Stop! No, but it's awesome.
Give it a year, they'll all be arguing.
No, but I heard about. We auditioned for this project, found out about it, and I didn't really think of much of it at first. I didn't think I'd be in a boy band, but here I am. Yeah. Here I am. It's amazing.
You're on this morning now.
Yeah, on this morning.
On.
Hi everyone. Hi Mum.
And Ollie, how did you get into all this then?
I've just been doing it for a really long time. I've been sort of put into it when I was a baby by my mum. She thought I was quite a good-looking baby, so put me up for a Bonnie Baby competition. And then from there, it sort of spiralled into singing and dancing and acting. But she really loved performing when she was younger too, so she sort of passed that on to me, and she did a lot of modelling, so I hopefully got a few of her good looks.
It's just carried on. You thought, go for the boy band now.
Yeah, and now we're here, which is incredible. Hiya, Mum and Nana.
This is to get one. Reece, I've got to say, not a lot of people can come on this show and rock double denim, but you're doing it.
Right.
He is.
I would make a Bewitched reference, but I think you're all too young to know what you're talking about. Reece, a boy band, it's quite tough, not only trying to do this alone, but to do this with 4 other guys. I take it you guys didn't really know each other before this experience, or did a couple of you know each other?
Yeah, no, so before, we auditioned back in October, November of last year. We were all obviously very, very fresh to this. We weren't totally clued up about what the project actually was.
And then a bit secret? I might put you on a plane.
It was a little bit. And then obviously we all kind of found ourselves going out to Korea, and we've, kind of bonded since, and
nice.
we formed the brotherhood that's now sat here.
So you are a proper brotherhood then now?
We are.
Yeah.
You properly bonded?
Yeah.
How was the whole experience? Because South Korea, at the best of times, is crazy, it's busy, there's a lot going on. But when you're basically put in what looks like a military boot camp at some points, with what you were wearing as well, the choreographers, the dancing, the singing, how much is that pressure on you boys?
It's a lot, yeah. There's a huge K-pop standard which we're trying to reach.
It's higher.
And yeah, it's massive. And we didn't really understand what we're getting ourselves into until we're out there and really got to meet some artists and see them perform. And then we really had to stand back and go, wow, this is huge. I think the closest thing you can compare it to in Britain is probably like the football culture and how you go to the pub, the football's always on. You get in a taxi, K-pop is on a TV in the back seat. Like it's everywhere, and it's really integrated into the community. So it's massive, it's huge, yeah.
Blaze, what was the feedback like for you guys out there then?
The feedback. So at first it's very honest. So at first it was slightly hard to hear.
Oh really? They're harsh, are they? Quite harsh.
It seems harsh,
right.
But what we learned throughout what we learned throughout the process is it's all done with love. Because they were really, really behind us. They wanted us to succeed. They wanted us to get better. And they knew what we had to do to get there. So it was honest, but it was done with love.
And the fact that you were obviously part of this experience, Dex, means that you really got to work with the queen of K-pop.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we got to work with the amazing Heejun, who is like part of the training system at SM. And it was honestly an honour, even to be in the room with her and get her to give me feedback on my performing was just amazing. And everyone over there at SM, it's just we got to work with the sickest choreographers, the vocal
we're
coaches.
talking like top tier.
Top tier.
Like,
and it was
like
just
Simon Cowell, but even scarier.
Well, sometimes we'd be sat there asking them who they've kind of worked with or choreographed for, and we'd have to pinch ourselves because it'd just be like, it's insane.
It's just so ridiculous. So now you've done this experience, what's next for you boys? Like, is this a thing now? Is Dear Alice here to stay?
Yeah. I'd say watch this space.
Yeah. No, don't give me that! I know you've got management over there. Don't say a word.
But you've got a lot of hard work in front of you, haven't you, James? Being in a boy band is hard. It is very hard.
Yeah, we're training. We're training very hard, and we're bonding and staying strong as a team. And I think, hard work is going to pay off, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Wow. We are genuinely so thrilled to meet you 5.
Yeah.
And just remember, when you are the biggest boy band in the world, remember how lovely we were to you.
Yeah. Of course.
And we want tickets for every show.
Yes.
We want to bring the family. We want to be on that
Of
jet
course.
as well.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's keep it on the list.
boys, congratulations. I hope it
you.
goes fantastic for you. Made in Korea, the K-pop experience starts on BBC One and iPlayer at 5:15 on Saturday. Good luck, boys.
Stay strong, boys. Stay strong. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Before all of that, we've got a story about probably every man's worst nightmare. In 2020, Craig Mycock had a shock diagnosis of penis cancer, which resulted in him having to have a full penis amputation.
Now, Craig is determined to share his story to help other men spot the signs and the symptoms, and he joins us now alongside his partner Colette and Dr. Nigga. And Craig, before we get into this story, I just want to say to you, thank you so much for being here today, because it takes a lot of courage to come on this morning on live telly and share a story like this, and you're going to be helping so many men out there today.
And that's what I want to do.
OK, well, I want to take you back, Craig, to the very, very beginning. How did you spot that, you know, you had cancer in the penis?
I didn't spot it at all.
Oh.
In 2018, I went for a procedure where a camera was inserted into the penis, to the bladder, just to have a look at my bladder and why it was
something totally unrelated.
Totally unrelated. And whilst I was having that procedure, a nurse actually spotted something on the end of the penis. It was only small, but he was concerned enough to get a doctor in for a second opinion.
And this was like a freckle or
it
a
was
spot?
it was just a mark, really. Not itchy, not soreness, nothing
You'd
there
not even
at all.
noticed it yourself?
I didn't. I noticed it, but it was. I just thought it was something what was there.
Yeah.
And part of me. So I just ignored it till the nurse actually examined it and got the doctor for a second opinion.
So obviously the nurse said, I'm just going to get that checked out. I'm going to get a doctor and have a second opinion. When did it go from, something that you thought, I think in your own words, you said, maybe I've caught my zipper or something like that. When did it go from
virtually
that?
straight away, because I was told I had to go to Christie's Hospital, which is our cancer hospital in Manchester. So when you hear the word Christie's, your heart sinks.
Yeah.
Because my family's had cancer in the past, we knew what Christie's was about. So unfortunately, it was virtually straight away.
I mean, the seed was planted.
So what did they say to you then?
At Christie's, after a biopsy and talking to the doctors, they knew I had penis cancer.
Right.
So I had to have an operation to have part of the penis taken away and part of my thigh brought and rebuilt the penis. So I wasn't too concerned. I was concerned, but not too concerned. I thought it would be OK to carry on my life.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks later, the lockdown had occurred. I had to go to Christie's on my own, dropped off because of lockdown, of course, and then had the operation. But I was examined prior to the operation, and unfortunately the cancer had spread that violently. They couldn't do the operation at all. So I had to have another biopsy and sent away, and then a new discussion made, which was a few weeks later when they had to then tell me they had to remove, have a glanectomy, which removal of the penis completely.
Oh, Craig, I'm so sorry, because you've went through all that on your own. You know, you went into the hospital. It was a lockdown period. You couldn't have any visitors
I couldn't have
or anything,
anybody
could you?
with me at all, no. Which affected me a lot, but you had to grin and bear it, really.
And Craig, I mean, it's anyone's worst nightmare, hearing those words, amputation, things like that. You originally thought, as you said, that you were going in for a surgery that needed to be done, but a rebuild would have happened. Yeah. To know that, as a man, myself as well, that they're going to amputate your penis, what goes through your mind in this moment?
Hell.
Yeah.
Basically hell. You lose all your confidence, your masculinity, you lose your identity, really. And if it wasn't for Claire, it's been by my side all the way, and of course my family, I don't think I would have got, well, I couldn't get through it, really.
And Colette, you two have been together for 33 years now, so
Yes.
congratulations. But you don't...
I need it.
Yeah. I mean, it must have been a toll on you as well. It's horrific news.
Yeah, I found the mental health side of it was more difficult for me because seeing Craig go from a man's man and a joker to somebody that sat in a chair and didn't speak for days, never went out. If he went out and saw anybody, he'd run away. That's the bit that hurt me more, to see him shrivel into this shell of nothing. Craig, to me, is the bravest man on this earth. I mean, he's absolutely amazing, and I understand why he's here. At first, I didn't know why he wanted to do it, because I thought it's a lot to do, a lot to share, but he wanted to put his story out, and this is the way.
He's
And
got
you've
you by his
kindly,
side as well.
yeah, you've kindly allowed us to do that, and we are grateful.
Well,
very
no, we're
grateful.
so grateful that you're on the show talking about this, because it's something that you just don't think about. It's something that doesn't go through your head. Thankfully, the surgery was successful, and you did have the full amputation. But it wasn't the fact of the surgery. It actually had a massive toll on your mental health, didn't it?
Yes, it was. It's part of me and part of my story. I had a lot of pain around the area, and I still get a lot of pain down there some days. It's unbearable. But it was the mental torture, if you know what I mean. It took me as far as it possibly could, to a point that I broke, and I did the stupid thing of trying to take my own life. But that's part of my story, and I come out the best side of it. And this is why I want to get this out there. Penile cancer is out there, and not many people know about it. And I just hopefully that one man will look and say, what is that on the end of my penis or the side of my penis? I'd best go and check it out. And that is why I'm doing this now.
Craig, thank you. Because, you know, you've heard the story yesterday. You were having a check last night, weren't you?
Yeah, I said to Joe, so I said, I'm going to go and have a look. Because it's not something that I would think to do, you know? Like, reading your story, I mean, as shocking as it is, like you say, hopefully this is going to be insightful to so many men out there watching this show. Because, Dr. Nigger, it's so lovely to see you as well. It's not something you'd think about. It's not something you think, I'm going to get cancer there.
There's so many areas of our body that we don't think that we're going to get cancer there, but it is part of our skin. Skin is our largest organ. We've talked about cancers of the skin, cancers of the breast, cancers of the bowel. You can literally get cancer anywhere, and penile cancer, thankfully, is rare, and it's so important that Craig does highlight his story, because it's rare doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So to put it into perspective, we get about 700 cases of penile cancer in the UK. That's less than 1% of new cancers. If you look at prostate cancer, which we hear a lot more about, even that has its taboo and stigma around it. There's about 40,000 cases. I mean, breast cancer, we hear a lot more about that. There's more cases of breast cancer, but it's taking away that shame and stigma, because as a GP in general practice, I get the patients who come in after all their treatment with the aftermath, and it's the mental toll that it takes. Because Craig highlighted that. You feel very, very alone, and you had to do it in the most horrific circumstances where it was lockdown, and you were told the diagnosis when you were on your own.
And Craig, you know, he didn't think anything of it. He just saw a little freckle. So what should men out there be looking out for?
Of course, so glad that Ryland said that he had a look. So any skin changes that are down there, anything that's longer than, we say persistent skin changes for more than 4 weeks, any irritation, any rash. Sometimes you can get a discharge as well. That's not normal, or any blood. And it's really important then to go a little bit further away from the genitals and look in the groin area, because you can get lumps in the groin. So just like we would say for breast, we always say have a look underneath your armpit and your neck, have a look in the groin area. And then we have something in medicine that we say are red flags. So unintentional weight loss, bowel symptoms, you just feel really tired, bone pain. They are really sinister symptoms that we need to then see you and come and speak to us.
Is there anything that can make certain men more susceptible to potentially getting penile cancer?
So we know that it's a rare cancer already, as I said, but we know that there are certain aspects that are associated with it. So human papillomavirus, a lot of people will know that. Women know that HPV virus because we do cervical screening and we check for it. But 6 out of 10 cases of penile cancer are associated with the HPV virus. That's a virus that sits on our skin and can cause skin changes, and particularly the virus 16 and 18 is associated with that. Age, we do see it in mostly over the men over the age of 50, but we can see it in younger men. So if you're in your 30s, 40s, please check down there. Just as we say to women, check your boobs, blokes, check your balls and check your penis as well. And then finally, we say smokers. So if you're smoking, then that can be associated with it because of the carcinogenics in cigarette smoke. But actually, the most important thing is being aware of it. And please, please, please do not be embarrassed to come and have that discussion with the doctor if you're ever worried.
I mean, thank you, Craig, for sharing your story today. And you've been through hell and back, but what does life look like for you now?
Life looks different, but positive.
Good.
And I want to just get the, excuse me, I just want to get it out there about the penis cancer.
Yeah.
And so men don't feel alone like I did.
Yeah.
It does make you feel like you're one person and not a family of people, like you could go and speak to somebody about having lung cancer and everything. I just want people to understand they're not alone out there, and we are out there, and to reach out if they need help.
OK, thank you, Craig.
You're
and thank you,
welcome.
Colette.
What
You're a wonderful couple, yeah.
What a couple. We had a nice little giggle before we went on
Yeah.
air as well. See, Craig weren't as nervous as you thought he was going to be, was
No,
it?
no.
It's only
Far
us.
from it.
Don't worry about it. Lovely to see you.
Oh, lovely
And Dr.
to
Nigger,
see
thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
And Chloe joins us now alongside Nadia Parks, who portrays her in the series. Ladies, so lovely to see you. But Chloe, lovely to see you again as well. We obviously had some fun on Big Brother. Chloe, your ordeal was absolutely horrendous, what you had to go through. Can you just take us back, for those that don't remember or are unaware, what actually happened?
Yes, I was working as a glamour model with frequent international jobs, and I was booked for a shoot by my old agent, Phil. And when I arrived at that shoot, it turned out to be a setup, and I was attacked from behind by two masked men, injected with ketamine and stuffed into a holdall bag. I was unconscious throughout this. I woke up with handcuffs on my wrists, my ankles, tape on my mouth, taken to a farmhouse hours away, and held captive for 7 days until I managed to convince the guy to release me by reading him and using his feelings.
It sounds like a horror film.
Yeah.
It really, really does.
You know, and human trafficking is a massive. I don't think anybody can comprehend how big it is. So you were so lucky to get out of there and use those skills to get out of there. And when you did free, and it was in the press, it was the Italian press that actually leaked the story. It wasn't even you, was it?
No, I did not want anyone to know. I was embarrassed by it. I wanted to move on. I was telling my agent at the time, I don't want anyone to know about this. And then the day before I got back to the UK, I had no choice. The Italian police said, we have to leak the story because it's of public interest and public knowledge and safety. And then there it was. I had no control over it, so.
Okay, and you were, well, called a liar. You were really victimised in the press. I watched a lot of interviews with yourself, and the way that you were treated was just terrible. Because what had happened is you'd gone out shoe shopping with this guy, you know, that you were trying to win round to let you loose, but it looked like it had, you know, you'd set the whole thing up. So people were accusing you of setting all this up for publicity. I mean, how did you feel at the time? And how do you feel watching back at some of those interviews as well?
Honestly, the media affected me long-term more than the actual kidnap itself. Really? Yeah, and I feel like that's really portrayed in the drama. It's a lot about the publicity after. And I'm glad that people get to see that because it definitely had a bigger long-term effect on me.
So this must be a bit of a 360 moment for you because obviously you were vilified so much by the media, not believing your story, people calling you a liar. Now to have this series made, is this a bit of a vindication moment for yourself? Sit there and go, you want to know what happened? Now you can see it yourself.
Yes, exactly. Like, I want the closure. I got the closure from the kidnap from the court, you know, when they were sentenced, when all the evidence came out, but I never got that closure from the media. I feel like it just was left open-ended. People's last memory is publicity stunt, it was fake. You know, all these false headlines never got closure, and I believe this drama can help do that because people learn a lot of things they didn't know, and all from the court proceedings, the BBC went into so much detailed research.
This is what I wanted to ask because obviously this is your story, so you must have been so heavily involved in the production of this.
Yeah, it's been going on since 2020, 4 years, so imagine all that time spent on detailed research. I had very close meetings with the writer, with Nadia before filming started so she could understand my characteristics, personality, how I behave, and that's also an important part because it's part of why I wasn't believed.
Yeah, and Nadia, a big responsibility on your shoulders there to play Chloe's part. So did you two spend a lot of time together, you know, getting all the details right and how she was feeling at the time?
Yeah, it was really important to me that I told this story in like the most accurate, authentic way. So I was lucky enough to, you know, meet you 3-4 times and kind of ask you questions about what happened to you, but also, you know, I got to ask questions like what kind of music you listen to and stuff, because I think accessing a character, the events are one thing and there's so much, you know, research that I could do, but I needed to just get to know Chloe and pick up her voice and her mannerisms and the way she walked. And
Nadia,
stuff.
I've got to say, I saw the clip of this morning when we were in our meeting. The first thing I said was, so Chloe's playing herself. You were done. Like, I just saw a little still there. Let's bring that back up because I cannot believe how much you've embodied her. Like, genuinely, I thought you were
thank
her.
you.
But taking on this role, obviously, this is it's human interest, it's real life.
Yeah.
So as an actor, a lot of the time, a lot of it's fabricated that you have to do. But when it's someone's real life story, and it's not a pleasant story by any means, did you feel the pressure of that? Obviously, knowing that this girl sat next to you.
Yeah, massively. You know, like it was such a responsibility to do this story justice, do Chloe justice. But also, you know, like you said, a lot of things are just based on true events. Everything that is in the drama is actually happened. So, you know, going to those emotional spaces and the headspace that Chloe must have been in that time, like it was a hard job, but I was lucky enough that someone could shout cut and, you know, Chloe couldn't wake up from the nightmare, so.
I think it's been a learning curve for a lot of people to know, do not judge, because I think you were judged a lot, I think, for being if you don't mind me saying, a glamour model, and none of us have been kidnapped there, all right? Nobody knows how you're going to react, and when you were given the interviews, you were quite matter of fact. There wasn't a lot of emotion there, but is that how you dealt with it? And do you think back then you were in a lot of shock when you were given these interviews?
I feel like I was in defense mode. I was just answering questions about what happened and just being as factual as possible to tell what happened, and people didn't like that. Like they expected me to be crying, but I just don't cry in public. I don't like it. I hate
actually
it.
think, like, going back to, obviously, you were in Celebrity Big Brother when I was working there, and I actually think that was a really great thing for you, purely because of the sheer fact of, I think we got to see you, and even just talking to you now, you are very cool. You are very composed. You are very quite matter-of-fact with the things that you say. So looking back at those interviews now, for me personally, I could sit there and go, well, I think surely she should be acting like this, she should be acting like that. But actually speaking to you and getting to know you, I feel like that is why you were like that in those interviews. Nadia, did you feel that as well when you met Chloe?
Yeah, I think it was, like Chloe said, it's a really important part of the story, the fact that you were judged based on a lack of emotion. So I guess the responsibility of me was to kind of bring the emotional truth behind the headlines, behind the media headlines, and kind of uncover why certain things played out the way that they did. But, you know, it is because of Chloe's bravery and resilience that she's here to tell the story, and that we're lucky enough to be able to tell her story, and she's a survivor, so.
And for you to watch this back now, Chloe, and actually see what we're all about to see through your eyes, how does it feel knowing now that everyone's going to experience what you've always said has happened all along? Is it a moment for you where you think, now you can all shut up, everyone that had something to say to me?
Yeah, it really did give me chills, like seeing, you know, a lot of dramas, maybe they're not what actually happened, but this is very, like, everything happened, what's in there. There's no fake additions or anything. Everything happened, especially episode 6, where you see all the court proceedings and the amazing evidence against him. You know, him basically admitting it on a jail call to his mum from prison. Like, all of that is included, and no one knew that.
Has anyone actually apologised to you, or do you think after this series that there's going to be quite a lot of phone calls to you actually apologising?
No, no one's apologised. I see, like, headlines starting to change, which is good, and media taking accountability for what they did. So I'm already seeing a positive change, and that's what I hope that people will get from the show and learn things, and it will change.
And what's next for you now?
I have some things I can't talk about, but
But you're happy?
I'm happy, yeah.
Good.
I'm in a better place, yeah.
Well, we're glad you're happy and we're glad you're here to tell your tale, to be perfectly honest with you. Nadia, it's such a pleasure to meet
Oh,
you.
thank you for having
Incredible
me.
in this. You really,
Oh,
really
thank
are.
you.
Kidnapped, the Chloe Alien story launches. It's a double bill, actually, at 9 p.m. on BBC Three. And all episodes are going to be available on the BBC iPlayer from 6 a.m. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, and lovely to see you, Nadia.
Yeah.
So
good,
nice to
good
see
things
you.
are happening to you, I tell you.
Thank you,
Chloe,
for
thank
visiting
you.
our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. With fraud making up over 40% of all the crimes in the UK and only 1 in 1,000 cases ending up in a conviction, is more important than ever to help protect yourself from scammers.
Yeah, and with that, worries that scams are only set to increase and become more sophisticated. What can we do to keep our money and all of our details safe?
Yeah, scam expert Nick Stapleton joins us now.
Morning, Nick.
Nick, I mean, it feels like we are living in a world where we've constantly got to be aware now of these scams. They are getting so sophisticated. I just can't get my head around some of them sometimes. And, you know, these are not just individuals anymore. These are massive companies. But how long have you been doing this for now, Nick? And what drew you into it?
So I've been investigating the world of scams and fraud, either by doing undercover inside companies who are trying to steal people's money, or now by doing this brand of kind of ethical hacking and investigative journalism, essentially for about the last 11 years.
Right.
And it's made it very clear to me that there's one thing that all of us need to do, and it's actually sort of clue ourselves up about this and really learn how to protect ourselves. Because unfortunately, as that 1 in every 1,000 conviction rate shows, this is a really complicated problem for the authorities to solve, and there isn't really anybody else who's going to stop you from getting scammed or look after you. You need to do it yourself.
What do we need to watch out for, Nick? Because 1 minute it's, excuse me, it's the dodgy text messages you get, click on this link, it could be an email. Now we're going into the realms of phone calls being made, people answering their phones, giving their details over the phone because they're claiming it's the bank. They're so sophisticated, like Joseph said, a lot more people that think they're savvy to this are falling for it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I think there's been a huge change in the kind of people who are targeted by this kind of thing. Yeah. I think most of us in the UK tend to think, oh, this is vulnerable, often elderly members of our population who are being targeted by scams. That, I'm afraid, is simply not true. If you look at the statistics behind scams at the moment, it's actually 16 to 34-year-olds who are being targeted the most and who are actually losing the most money as well. And when you think about it, that does make sense. 16 to 34-year-olds are much more likely to be better connected to the internet, for example, and that makes them quicker to defraud. They might also be in more competent control of some kind of digital finances, like online banking, whereas somebody who is in their 70s or their 80s may require, for example, a trip to the bank to be able to actually steal their money. So if you're a very clever scammer and you can work out how to make someone who's 16 to 34 give you their money, it's much easier to take it than it is from someone who's more elderly.
So you've been doing this for 11 years. So from when you started out to now, how sophisticated has this become?
It's completely changed, I would say. So obviously, there have always been companies that are just set up for the sole purpose of trying to scam people out of money. But what's changed, particularly since the pandemic, is that this is now a global thing. And it's not just people in the UK, companies in the UK who are trying to take your money. It is large businesses all over the world, often with hundreds of employees, their own IT departments, their own HR, running a payroll, who are doing a bit of legitimate business, but then have scammers working in that same building, and they're using that to launder the money that they make from scams so that no one can basically track them down. Makes the authorities' job much harder. And that means that the scale of scams and fraud has just massively exploded since the pandemic, particularly.
But there's a lot of money behind this, isn't there? This isn't just someone sat in a room ringing up Brenda going, give me your bank details. It's proper full-scale operations. So obviously you say it's quite difficult for these people to be tracked down, it's difficult for them to be convicted, but this is a full-on organisation, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is an industry, and that's the way I want people to think about it. I think when we think about the image of a scammer in our minds, most of us, as you say, will think of a
scary person down the phone.
Hooded person on laptop, kind of hunched over a computer, making phone calls. That is just not the case. This country, potentially, in the last year, has lost £17 billion to scams and fraud. That is more than what we spend on policing. It's 4 times what we spend on prisons. That is all money that is going out of our pockets and into, essentially, the black market, never to be seen again. Now, that is costing all of us money, not just in the actual scams themselves, but then in what banks, insurance companies, etc., charge us. And it's also costing people emotionally and psychologically.
Well, yeah.
Because, unfortunately, the results of being scammed are appalling on people's mental health. And that is a massive problem as well that we need to be thinking about.
Well, there's this like shame, you know, if you've been scammed, you almost don't want to admit it. 'Cause, you know, it does have a shame that comes with it. So are a lot of these crimes, are they getting reported, and have they got the infrastructure to follow these crimes up?
So they are definitely being reported, and we have evidence of just the sheer number of scams and fraud happening in this country as a result of those reports. The statistics are okay, but they're not brilliant. The problem is basically that the authorities trying to actually track down scammers have got an incredibly difficult job because of the way the internet has changed the scammers' ability to take our money. It's very easy now to be a scammer and be totally anonymous, you know, in a completely different country. Say, for example, you got scammed of £2,000. That could be a huge amount of money to you personally. So your expectation would be that if you go to the police and report that, they're going to be able to do something about it and they're going to track down that individual. But if that person's in another country, the police are going to need to go and do some kind of international collaboration with authorities in another country. They're going to have to do a huge paper trail from bank to bank to bank to bank of all the money going back to this other place.
It's ridiculous.
Realistically, that's a lot of resources. It's probably not going to happen.
No. And so what would you say is the best thing that we could do to not only just keep our money safe, but our personal details and all of the stuff that we really should be keeping to ourselves?
So my general rule is basically anything that comes out of the blue, just assume it's a scam until proven otherwise.
Right.
And verify, 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 verify. Get out there and educate yourself about the current scams that are going around and how you can protect yourself from. Be proactive about this, essentially. Don't just sit at home thinking, oh, this happens to other people, I'm going to be fine, I'm too clever, I'm too clued up.
Yeah.
The right scam on the wrong day can catch any of us, me included. And being on top of the information that's there is going to be key to making sure it doesn't happen to you.
So you're taking your Beat the Scammers on a live tour, and so people will be able to work out on how to protect themselves. Where are you starting off from, Nick?
That's right. So Stafford in February next year, and we're doing a sort of loop of the UK, and it's going to go right through to March 2025. And yeah, it's a tour that is going to take people on this journey through the world of scams and fraud. So hopefully that we can better understand exactly how this industry works. We're going to talk about current scams. We're going to talk about the weird little specialisms that certain parts of the world have acquired in the world of scams and fraud. But crucially also, we're going to test people.
Yeah.
And there's a thing that nobody knows about How to Beat Scammers tour yet, which is that it's actually also a book. So I am writing a self-help book, which is going to accompany the tour. And it's going to be like your suit of armour against scams and fraud, basically. A compendium, like a book with everything about current scams. You can look through it, read it, hopefully learn about almost every scam that's out there and tool yourself up to fight back, basically, and try and put scammers out of business.
Well, you say, obviously, you're going to be testing people. We were sitting there this morning, and you've already said it, sat on this sofa, oh, it's not going to happen to me, and stuff like that. You've prepared a little test for us to see if we can work out if this is real or fake.
Yes, quite right. I have brought along some scam or legit sort of images for us to try out. So there's
that could be the new This Morning game, scam or legit.
Scam or legit. So we've got some texts first of all. So I've got 2 texts there, both of which claim to come from NatWest. Have a little look and tell me which one you think might be the real one.
The cancer suspension, especially looking at 700.
That one's this one is the real one. Our security team have tried to contact you regarding online account login via that one's the real one, I think.
I'm sorry to tell you, Josie, you're wrong.
What the? Oh no!
That one's the scam.
You're scammed.
And this one is the legit one. And I think it's doubly difficult to tell, partly because it's very easy for scammers to effectively spoof the name of the person that the text is coming from. So if you look, it's capitalised on the scam side, and on the actual real one, it's not capitalised at all, which I found very strange. Who knows why that happened? But this real one is saying to you that you've had some dodgy transactions and they've blocked your card, basically, and that they're going to contact you on this specific number. So obviously, you would then get a text from your bank saying these transactions have happened. If this wasn't you, you know, press
Y.
Exactly.
Plus, also with that first one, that's telling you to go to a link.
Exactly, Roland. That is it. So the link is the clue that that's a scam. Never be clicking through on these links that come in unsolicited messages like that, even if you do think it's your bank. And if you're not sure, basically just give your bank a call, talk to them about it.
We got any more?
Yes, we do. We've got an email as well.
Oh, there you are.
There's a picture of me. So this is emails from a big Chinese online shop called Shein. And on the left there is one. And on the right, there is another.
Oh,
so,
okay, they're two different ones.
Again, which one do you think is which? So
it's a Shane, hurry up, the number of prizes to be won is limited. Right, so the one on the right is giving hurry up now, do it now, which is hurry up, the number of prizes to be won is limited, confirm now. So that's sort of like persuading you, I better press it beforehand. Whereas the one on the left is, you're only one click away. So I'd say the one on the left's real and the one on the right's a bit, hurry up and press me.
He's pretty good at this.
God, you are very good.
Going on tour in February.
So Ryland's right. The one on the left is the legit email and the one on the right is indeed a scam. And it's actually trying to get you to go and do this kind of like a survey, which will then lead to you putting personal information in at the end in order to get a prize. So it's just an information gathering exercise by scammers. The first one is essentially just an email from them confirming that you've joined as a member.
And I know it sounds silly as well, but like the overlay on that of like the phone and things like that, you're losing the text in there. That would never come out from a company where it's like customer feedback as always, blah, blah, blah.
You make a good point. So scammers obviously not quite as good at laying out emails as real companies are. So that would also be a giveaway.
I would definitely. I would not know the difference whatsoever.
It can be really, really difficult. And I think this last one's really interesting as well because this is such a common scam.
Okay.
So these are called blue screen of deaths. They're error messages that you get on a Windows computer very, very commonly. If something's gone very wrong, screen goes totally blue.
I think I know this one anyway.
You think you know which one's which?
I think the one on the right's the real one because it's saying Control-Delete to restart, which is definitely the formula to restart your computer. This one here is saying you're infected with many Trojans, firewalls at 5%. It's like scaremongering again.
Exactly, spot on. It's trying to get you to do something as well. It's trying to panic you into doing something you shouldn't do, which is basically to call a number. Whereas the one on the right's just saying, something bad's happened, but don't worry, just press this and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So it's the slightly kind of alarmist tone of that one on the left that gives it away, as well as this number that's come out that's saying, call our certified technicians on this. No, don't
Plus,
do it.
that looks like a pop-up. The one on the left. That looks very pop-up-y that you just get when you go on the internet.
I'm glad to see you're on top of this, Roland.
I'm actually the one behind it. No, I'm joking. It's not me. I promise you, it's not me. But I love all that.
I'd actually be. I'm really shocked here because I thought I'd be really good at this, and every single one of them would have scammed me. So that is a bit of a worry.
Well, it's really important to engage with this stuff, and I think, as you said before, there is this kind of shame around it, which is just so it's so upsetting because, and this is the thing I say that kind of annoys people the most. Don't say, how could people be so stupid? Don't say, how can people be so gullible? Because you are contributing to people feeling that shame and not wanting to engage with the information that's out there. We don't victim blame. That's not a thing that we do in our society anymore. And yet with scams, it's still happening. Why is that the case? It's completely unacceptable and I really wish people would stop doing it.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, yeah,
You do look like your dad.
Oh, thank you.
You do look like
I'll take
your
that
dad.
as a compliment.
John
From here
Stapleton.
upwards,
You are like him, yeah.
Good dad's size. Nick, good luck with the tour. Good luck with the book.
Yeah.
Enjoy it all. And thanks for teaching us how to avoid scams.
Really appreciate it.
Very
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
As Team GB return home from Paris triumphantly with an incredible 65 medals, we are joined by some of the amazing athletes who made it happen.
Yes, despite giving up on her dream of becoming an elite runner 7 years ago, Georgia Bell turned it all around, winning bronze in the 1500-metre final.
And after starting climbing at the age of 7, Toby Roberts made history at just 19 years old when he secured Great Britain's first ever gold medal in the sport.
And Izzy Thorpe and Kate Shortman also broke records when they won Team GB's first ever medal in artistic swimming after clinching a silver.
And we are so thrilled to say they have just arrived home. They are all joining us now. Guys, a massive round of applause. Come on.
Well done, you
guys. Well done. I mean, George, we've got to come to you. Congratulations, first and foremost. But you gave up running at one point.
I know. I quit. I never thought I'd be good enough. Just went into the working world and then just through COVID really got back into exercise when that's all you can do. And yeah, kind of escalated now.
Georgia, how long hadn't you run for?
I hadn't stepped on a track for about 5 years.
5 years and you've gone on to win a bronze. Can you actually believe it?
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's still very surreal. When I quit, I knew I kind of hadn't fulfilled my potential, so it was quite sad, and I kind of never thought I would go back to it, but then just so happy over the past few years, seeing the fitness come back, getting in contact with my old coach, and just getting better and better. And yeah, I was just so happy to be there and bring home the medal.
But your story is so surreal because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, up until May, I think you were working in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
It's now August, you've got a bronze around your neck.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I know. So I'm working full-time until recently. Work gave me a work-supported leave over the summer. I went to my boss and said, please, can I try and make the Olympics? And
Do you mind if I just pop to the Olympics for a couple of days?
Pretty much. And they've all been really supportive and doing watch parties in the office. So
Something incredible.
Yeah.
It's a lot of juggling, isn't it? But you had a really good
juggling.
partner to support you as well, didn't you? And a really good family.
Yeah, absolutely. Family and my boyfriend have been so supportive. You know, they always thought I could do it, even though it was a little bit of an unconventional route. So yeah, very lucky to have them.
Well, we're very lucky to have you here today. We know how tired you all are. You've literally just got back.
Yeah.
Toby, a massive congratulations to you. The first ever gold in climbing. This is incredible. And you're 19.
I am.
19 years old and you were sat there with a gold medal wrapped around your neck. What on earth is going through your mind right now?
I mean, the last few days have just been absolutely crazy. Training for so many years with the dream of going to the Olympics and then going there with getting rid of the expectations and then leaving with a gold medal is just it's like a dream come true, and it has not really sunk in yet.
Oh, I mean, Tobes, you have been nicknamed the UK Spider-Man. They also call you Toby the Terminator, and you have been like this from a very young age. And your dad spotted your amazing talents, didn't he, when you were very young?
Yeah, I mean, I've always just sort of had a passion for climbing things, whether it's like climbing trees or my parents said I used to like climb out of my cot when I was younger. I've just always had a passion for climbing. When I found the sport when I was 7, it almost felt like a bit of a gift. I was just so happy to have found something which I was so passionate about, and yeah, just step by step, like I just kept going and I just kept enjoying it, and yeah, to be sat here now having almost fulfilled my dream is just.
Well, not almost, you have.
Yeah.
You've got the gold,
Yeah,
Toby. You've done it, and it was you were 12 when you were like, I'm going to the Olympics.
Yeah, so when I got introduced into Tokyo for the first time, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to stand on that stage. I want to go to the Paris Olympics, and now to be sat here, it's a dream come true.
Well, it's incredible. It's lovely to have you. It really, really is.
And,
what an inspiration.
You're all Olympians, and what you didn't realise is, you need that support from the special people in your life to be able to do what you do. And your dad has been a real support network for you, hasn't he, Tobes?
Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't have been possible without all the support I've received from my parents. It's one thing to go and do it, but it's about the people it's like a team effort. It's about like the whole team around you who gets you to the games, who like keeps you level-headed. And
Was he into climbing himself, your dad, or?
No. So when I found it in like the after-school club, he sort of.
Well, this is just literally from an after-school club?
Yeah, it's like an after-school club. And then.
I mean, I think I was over the park, like with my mates on the swings, and you've got a gold medal wrapped around your neck.
Cider, I would.
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey. We sort of learned about the sport together, and that's what's been really nice. And I've always got him there in the competitions. I trust him 100%, and it's just a really nice relationship.
Well, honestly, your story's incredible, and I know you're sat next to Kate and Izzy as well. Girls, your story is incredible, because I could be sitting here speaking to both of your mums. Because your mums used to do exactly the same thing as you two. They were together, now you two are together, and you've got silver medals wrapped around your neck. This story is just, it's mind-blowing. Surely they're going to make a Hallmark film out of this.
It does feel like a film, your story, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we've done them proud, and, they were swimming together when they were younger, and we've kind of carried on, I guess, that legacy in a way. So they just missed out on the Olympics, unfortunately, but I think we've kind of made them proud in our way. Yeah.
So how old were your mums? Because your mums are best friends. So how old were your mums when they became best friends?
So they've kind of known each other, I guess, same as us, like forever. They all used to do artistic swimming, and like all our families know each other because they did swimming and water polo, so everyone was at the pool together. And yeah, they did a duet together, they did a team together, obviously just missed out on the Olympics, and then they introduced us to the sport and they coached us right from our very first taster session, and now I guess it's such a full circle moment, they've seen us compete and win a medal at the Olympics.
But how is that? Because I could not think of anything worse than my mum coaching me to try and win an Olympic medal. Could you imagine, Linda?
That would be
I mean, I'd probably knock the cauldron over. The torch would go out, it would be terrible.
Yeah, there were times like that.
But this is what I'm saying, because obviously they know what they're talking about. They're incredible at the sport themselves. That's obviously how you two have got into it.
Yeah.
But was there times it was like, Mum, leave it out?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, we were training with them since we were about 10 years old. So we've gone through that whole journey of life with them. I mean, it's amazing now to look back and think, oh, they've been there throughout the whole journey, but There were definitely a few arguments at the pool during those teenage years. But yeah, it's been so worth it now, and we're really happy that we got through it.
And for them, obviously, they didn't make the Olympics themselves. What was it like for both of your parents to see you both standing side by side on that podium?
Oh, I think it would have just been such a special moment. Like, I haven't really got to speak to my family properly and see them, so I haven't really even been able to speak to my mum and have that conversation yet. But when I get home, I know that it's going to be so emotional, and
yeah, it's going to be a lot of tears, I think.
Yeah,
I can't ready for that.
What does it feel like, to wear those medals? What does it feel like?
Well, we just spoke to this before. I just said, you've got, not only have you got the medal, you've got a bit of the Eiffel Tower in them as well.
Yeah, they're such nice medals as well. They're definitely quite heavy, but yeah, it's just, I don't have any words for it really yet. It's not even sunk in. It's been, I think, 3 days, and it's just been a whirlwind. So I've not really come down and really realised what's happened yet. So.
Well, you guys haven't even been home yet, have you?
No.
Straight off the train from Paris, you're straight in London. Where are you going to keep the medals?
That's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Because we'll look after them for you if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say, I might put mine around my neck forever.
End up with a bit of neck ache.
Yeah. I would be like that on a night out. Look at me. I'll have apple Lager Lane, please.
That was me. That was me. Guys, a massive congratulations, not only just to yourselves, but you did it for Team GB as well. So a massive well done. Can we have a round of applause for our Olympians, please?
Fantastic.
Congratulations. Go home and just have a little lie down now and enjoy yourself for a little bit. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Get home safe, you lovely
So proud
lot.
of you guys, so proud.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.